say and what the hometown heroes want to talk to them about.
Thank you so much, guys, and great work on the casting desk today. I'm, of course, here with Jankos and Van. I'm just going to give you a second for the crowd to get behind you. And they have been behind you today. First question over to you, Jankos. Unicorns were looking, honestly, very good coming into this matchup. Analysts were even saying that they would pick up this series, but you handed it to them. Talk to me about how this series went for you.
Well, I think the series wasn't that hard, simply because I think our pick and ban improved a lot since the Splice game. I also believe Unicorns have worse individual players. So that means if you have similar team play, we'll just kind of easy win, you know? Also, we didn't...
Go ahead.
Also, I'm really happy that we didn't choke this time, like last playoffs, and that means we didn't go to the 5th game, which could be very hard for us, as per usual. And as long as G2 wins tomorrow, we are going World Finals, so I'm happy.
Go G2.
Go G2.
Go G2, and over to you, Vander, as well. Ending up now in 3rd place, maybe I'll give you the microphone, no problem, or maybe you can interview him, it's all good. But now looking at the split and also the playoffs as well, how have those been for you? Because maybe 3rd place, a bit of a disappointment?
Well, I'm really sorry for everyone who came here that we don't play tomorrow. We are 1 game off, and I think we should have taken the series against Splice, but we beat ourselves, I would say. So obviously there is a slight disappointment we don't play tomorrow, but if G2 wins and we go for World Finals, it doesn't really matter.
Absolutely. And I just have one last thing for you guys before we head up to the analyst desk. So talking about playing here, of course, in front of your home crowd here in Poland, what does it mean to you to pick up this win? Would you maybe be able to give me an answer in Polish as well to your Polish fans here in the arena?
Dziękujemy za przybycie i za doping, za liczne flagi, transparenty, to niezmiernie miłe, także cieszymy się, że byliście tu dla nas. And going back to the question, we play in LCS since 3 years, I think, and we were really close to playing IM Katowice twice, and we missed the chance really by the slight margin. So it's obviously we always wanted to play in front of our Polish crowd and our country, so we felt like it's our home advantage today. So
fantastic. And Jankos, of course, extending the same question to you. What does it mean to you winning this series in front of these guys?
Well, it was my dream to play in Poland. So dziękuję wam za przybycie. Polska!
Good stuff, guys. Well, congratulations on the win. Very convincing at the very end. And got the chant going as well. Thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to talk to me. We're now going to send it over to the analyst desk to break down this day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paulson. Fantastic crowd. They're standing behind their guys. And as we as we wrap up today's action here in Krakow, I also want to give a shout out to everyone at the Air Canada Center in Toronto, as those guys are waiting for CLG versus Immortals. So hello to everyone over there. If they can hear us.
We don't know. It takes a while for us to get there.
Yeah, it does. But before we send it over to Immortals versus CLG, we are going to take a look at a player that carried harder than the rest, or equally so, to secure his team a 3rd place finish, and that is Ryu. In this case, Crepo, you especially advocated for Ryu and his stepping up in this series.
Yeah, I mean, I asked the guys backstage too to weigh in, some of the players backstage, and Ryu just outclassed Exile and really showed a lot of his vulnerabilities. I feel in this series the same can be said for Jankos and Move, but I feel like Move just shows his vulnerabilities to whatever jungle he plays against. So Ryu definitely controlled a lot of the series for me.
I feel like in this particular case, 2 games that he had on that Talia, on that Cassiopeia, definitely stepped up. I think Ryu played better in this series than he ever has this entire split, but then again, I have to give credit to the draft as well, because it was completely tailored for the fact that Ryu should succeed in this kind of environment. And then again, I feel like the 1 game that they lost, I have to put the blame on Ryu because of that team fight that eventually gave UOL the Baron.
Fair enough. But in the end, it's H2K that walks away with the win. Interesting interview there. We didn't choke in playoffs, 3rd place match, and we didn't go to game 5. Yay, in 3 games in the 3rd place match next split, I guess, or...
Yeah, hopefully, or maybe just get a little farther. Hopefully they don't get a group of death at Worlds. That's a bit unlucky for them last time, but hopefully they get a better draft here. But they still have a lot of work, let's be honest.
They have a lot of work if they get to Worlds, and let's look at that scenario, because with locking in third place for H2K, they are one step closer to Worlds contention. If G2 wins the whole thing here tomorrow, that means G2 goes to Worlds auto-qualify, and H2K has the most points to get there, so we'll see what happens. The Unicorns have loved to touch on it. Finally, we're going to the Gauntlet or the regional qualifier anyway. After seeing what they did here today, what kind of a chance do you give them?
Like UOL,
Yes.
pretty much. I feel like if they have to face us or H2K, I think they will struggle once again because I think 6.15, not a lot is going to change, and there are very glaring weaknesses in Unicorns Love's draft. Maybe Exile can pick up a few champions, but I think in this short amount of time, it's very, very hard to accomplish that.
Well, we will see what happens there as we saw Vander there. It must be really cool to be able to celebrate this with friends and family on site as well. Fantastic performance for them for H2K.
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to be able to play or even just like host in front of your home crowd. We had a little bit of a taste of it in Brussels. Never got there on stage, but it's just fantastic.
Yeah, we were on stage for a second.
Yeah, we were on stage for a second, you know, as hosts, not as players. But it is a fantastic feeling, and I'm overjoyed for them at least that they can deliver and especially break like a history of choking and not performing very well in playoffs, both for H2K and both for themselves as veteran players.
Definitely so. Finally, let's look ahead to G2 versus Splice tomorrow. We're all warmed up. Fantastic 4 games here.
The banter backstage is ready.
The banter is ready because Jankos and Vander will be joining us on the analyst desk as well. So, Yamato, how are you feeling?
I'm kind of happy H2K won because it would just make feeling winning against G2 would just make it so much better.
I always like confident coaches because that means they have a lot to learn once they go to the Gauntlet.
Yeah, let's go over the scenario. This means that you guys have to win, but I don't think there was any doubt in anyone's mind that you guys absolutely did want to win. Same for G2. Multiple times they have said, yeah, we are automatically qualified for Worlds, but to sit there again and Sven then and take the confetti to the face if you lose, nobody wants to go through that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I even asked Sven about that backstage, and he was like, yeah, nice joke. So it's going to be a super interesting match. Most importantly, I want to see a best of 5 of like on standard lanes, Carbon Mickey versus Van Mithy for me, very fascinating. I personally think Wunder is going to beat up Expect, but I don't know to what extent that's going to work. Trashy versus like Trick, the difference in styles and approach to the game, both just deliver consistently, but slightly different approaches to the game, in my opinion. It's just a clash of styles that's super fascinating to watch, and especially since their strengths are in different parts of the map.
What's your biggest mismatch? I mean, I want to ask the coach, but I don't know if it could be or good for your team or bad.
Well, you know, what I can say, I will just stay away from your question and say like about this particular matchup. I think, you know, the fact that we've had UOL and H2K with G2 and us have faced them, and I feel like these teams play very differently on 6.15. I feel like because we've practiced with G2 the entire split long, I feel like we have a lot of similarities, and it's not that heavy early game centered as Move and Jankos like to be with their team all around. So I feel like this particular best of 5 will look very different from any of the other best of 5s we've had in playoffs.
We may actually see people split push in the mid game. Big surprise. But the biggest mismatches for me are a mix between bot lane and top lane. Spice take the top lane, G2 heavily take the bot lane.
Okay, so who wins it?
G2.
G2? I guess Splice for the coach, that would be.
Gandalf, don't hurt me.
We'll see tomorrow. It is time for us to log out of the Taron Arena for now. Thank you very much, Yamato, for joining us. Good luck tomorrow, and it's hot in here in Krakow. And tomorrow, the competition will reach boiling point. We'll see you tomorrow for the EULCS Summer Split Finals. From Taron to Toronto, good night. Welcome to